Right now, 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 right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We gotta add a little addendum to the show map today, and so we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. Well, it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about a historic day in the history of Bitcoin. Yesterday, July 23rd, 2024, will go down in history as one of the defining moments in Bitcoin's entire 15-year existence and in Ethereum's nearly decade-old existence. And that is because at the end of yesterday, we had reports that almost $600 million worth of inflows occurred on all of the Ethereum ETFs, excluding the Grayscale Trust, which saw $438 million of outflows. We will discuss why that happened in a second, but that did not have to do with the launch. That had to do with them being undervalued to their NAV. The other ETFs, the quote-unquote newborn six, as Eric Balchunas and many others are starting to coin them as, saw almost $600 million of inflows. And today we're going to be talking about why that is such a significant number. Here's a stat for you. The Ethereum ETFs, excluding the Bitcoin ETFs, performed almost 7 times better than any other ETF that is launched in the last 12 months in the United States. The next highest performing ETF that is launched in the United States in the last 12 months saw $100 million in first day inflows. The 8 newborn Ethereum ETFs saw $600 to $700 million of inflows, beating anything else by nearly an order of magnitude. Today, we're going to be talking about this historic day that happened yesterday, and we're going to be talking about the historic next 90 days because the heat is really starting to ramp up in cryptocurrency. I made a video yesterday. If you've not already watched it, you absolutely should. In that piece of content, I explained why in my almost 7 years in the cryptocurrency space, I have never been more confident in the future of this industry than I was yesterday, and that is just a statement that I get to say again today after we actually have the inflow data from Ethereum. I don't mean to get you all hyped up. I'm just kidding. Of course I mean to get you all hyped up. This is a very serious event that's going on. We're going to be unpacking what it means for us as investors. I'm going to tell you what it means for me as somebody who has been acquiring Ethereum for years. At one point, I was dollar cost averaging 2 Ethereum a week, right? I was buying Ethereum. It was only $400 or $500. They were $183 a piece. I was buying Ethereum on the weekly. I was generating Ethereum through different streams of revenue. You guys would pay us in Ethereum sometimes. I have Ethereum that we acquired south of $200. It's up over 15x, and I believe that is going to be up 30x by the end of the year, because at the end of this year, I believe that Ethereum will likely be trading between $5,000 and $6,000. So today, we're going to talk about what has happened in the last 24 hours politically, technically, fundamentally, and financially in the cryptocurrency space, and I will show you exactly how to succeed in this market. If you are new here, my name is Jeb McAfee. I've been, as you heard, working in the cryptocurrency space since July 31st of 2017. It's been a minute. I've been here for over half of the history of Ethereum, almost half of the history of Bitcoin, and I'm one of the oldest currently active cryptocurrency YouTubers still on the platform. I'm predated everybody. So I love this space. I love teaching you guys about technical analysis. That is my pride and joy, analyzing the markets, sharing where they're going to go, and it is my goal to help you become something that I call financially sovereign. When you see my face, think the words financial sovereignty. I want you to be sovereign over your wealth. I want you to go from a chaotic debtor to an intentional investor. We get rid of the chaos by having a budget. We get out of debt because we know that debt equals slavery. We cannot be free men. We cannot be free women and have massive growth financially while being enslaved. And then from being a chaotic debtor, which I was at one point, and many of you guys were, then we transition over here to where I want you to become, which is an intentional investor. I want you to become an intentional investor because I firmly believe that after you have stopped being a chaotic debtor, you moved over to being an intentional investor, that is where you are going going to be able to do 3 of the most fun things you can do with money. You get to invest it to make more of it, which is a great hobby. I very much enjoy doing that. You get to enjoy it practically by spending it on things. And you get to do the thing that is the most fun with money. You get to be radically generous to those people around you that God has laid on your heart. And I'm going to show you how to revolutionize your life financially if you just stay tuned. So if you're new here, I want you to go ahead and give me a wave in chat. I will personally give you a shout out, and everybody else who is in chat, I want you guys to make sure that they feel especially welcome this morning. Thank you all for tuning in, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to read a couple of names here, and then we'll jump on over to some of our stories and over to CoinMarketCap. Grand Roofing Incorporated is in chat. Good to see you, man. He has been a member of the channel for a very long time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are doing well. Kokomo, Indiana. How about that? We've got Miguel, Calistasian. Shout out to you. Coin Operator is in chat, said, W-Stream, howdy. Miguel's in chat from Miami. RJ Phillips in chat. Music Tag said, let's go, Jeb. Troy Benz said, no longer a slave to debt, now a slave to Christ. Praise God. I love that. Now, of course, when we say slave to Christ, we don't mean, we mean that we're followers of Christ, right? So that's what he means. Slave has a context that the world thinks of. That's not what that means in what he's saying. All right, Andy XO's in chat. Give us a wave. Shout out to you, Andy. Welcome to the stream. So pleased that you would be here with us. Thank you so much for tuning in. I promise you, I'm going to make this worth your while. You're going to walk away from this having a better understanding of current affairs in crypto, where the market is, and again, most importantly, and this is the real point here, how to build wealth in crypto. That's what we're here for. We want to make money, right? And we need to... This will be the last thing I say before I get into the content. We need to destigmatize that. The culture, here's the thing. In our culture, things are backwards. Things are backwards. I just finished watching this season of this show that Disney put out called The Acolyte. It's a Star Wars show. And, you know, I love Star Wars, big fan of Star Wars. The ending, I don't want to spoil it, but it's almost like they were glorifying the dark side. I was like, what the heck's going on here? But it's so typical of our culture. We've got things backwards. In our culture, it's a good thing to be broke. Listen, I've got nothing. You're not morally inferior because you were broke, but it's also a sign that maybe you need to mature financially. So it's not that you're not less valuable if you don't have money, but you're also not more valuable because you don't have money. But our culture's made it that way. Like if you're broke, then you have more value. And if you are rich, then you must be a greedy butthole. And there are some greedy jerks out there that got money, but it's not a bad thing to seek to build wealth. It's a good thing. In fact, it is a sign that you have matured financially. Maturing in any realm is a good thing. So I want you guys to work with me on destigmatizing this idea of you're a greedy butthole if you want to go and build wealth. Nonsense. I am extremely pleased with the fact that I have spent the last many years of my life working on building wealth. It's been very beneficial for me, my family. If somebody calls in and they say, hey, I need some help, I have the ability to do that because we built wealth. We've got to destigmatize this idea of building wealth just means you're a greedy jerk. That's not what it means. And the culture can, you know, just forget about that. That's some complete nonsense. Now, let's figure out how to build some wealth in cryptocurrency, and let's get started with perhaps the most important story of the last 6 months, and that is the Ethereum ETF flow. Now, if you're not familiar with this website, I want you to become familiar with this website. This is everywhere. You're seeing screenshots of this in all the articles. This is a website put together by a company in the United Kingdom called Farside Investors. We've been using them to track the inflows and outflows of the Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, which, by the way, are enormous. 2 days ago on Monday, we saw $526 million of inflows into the IBIT Bitcoin ETF, which is the largest inflow that any Bitcoin ETF has seen in months. So huge amount of inflows going in to Bitcoin on the heels of the Ethereum ETF going online. Now, since yesterday was day 1, hour 0 of trading, we saw some enormous inflows as well. And I need to unpack this data here because this is potentially the most important data that has come across my desk this morning. We saw, first and foremost, $484 million of outflows from the Ethereum ETF that has been put forward by Grayscale. Now, there's a few terms floating around here. I want you to be aware of what's going on when you're reading the news and you're on Twitter and on X and everything. And there are 9 ETFs that were created. 8 of them are newborn, right? There are 8 newborn ETFs. Those ETFs are from Franklin Templeton and Invesco Galaxy, Invesco. They're from BlackRock, they're from Fidelity, etc. They're from VanEck. Those are the newborn 8. Those are completely new products that had nothing in them 72 hours ago. Now they are receiving inflows. There's one ETF that is the Ethereum that is the Grayscale Ethereum Trust that was launched almost 7 years ago. That has had, oh gosh, I don't know the number, about $17 billion of liquidity in it, somewhere around there. Actually, probably about 20 billion, because this represents, I remember saying this represents about 5% of the entire market capitalization of the entire holdings, the entire assets under management of the trust exiting the thing. So we're looking at about 19, probably about 19. About $10 billion or so. Yeah, about 10 billion, actually. It says it right here, seed. About $10 billion of volume, assets under management in the Grayscale fund. Now, the issue with the Grayscale Trust is that it has been trading under NAV, net asset value. So if Ethereum is trading at $5,000, then a lot of times the Grayscale Trust has been trading at the equivalent of like $3,000. So if you bought the Grayscale Trust, you actually got screwed, and you would have been better off buying Ethereum rather than the Grayscale Trust. So they've not had that much inflows in years, and people have not been able to take their money out because of a 6-month lockup period. So with the Ethereum Trust being converted into an ETF, and this is going to, I want to explain this because you need to understand why this number is not, it says 100 million, not 600 million. I'm using the number 600 million, but I got to explain why there's negative 500 million here. The Grayscale Trust had been having Ethereum trade at a 30, 40, 50, 60% discount, which meant investors were basically getting the bum end of the stick. It was not a good investment for them. And so as soon as it launched, they were now able to redeem their Grayscale Ethereum Trust for Ethereum, which means instantly the net asset value discount is gone because they can redeem it for Ethereum, which means that whereas before their Grayscale Ethereum Trust, Ethereum may have been worth, I don't know, let's say $2,500. I don't know the exact number, but it was on a big discount. Now they can sell it at the price of Ethereum, redeem it for Ethereum, sell the Ethereum at the value of Ethereum, which means instantly they just made like 80% because this went online. So of course they're selling. People that were holding the Grayscale Ethereum Trust are currently selling because they essentially just made 80% in the last 72 hours because when this went online, now they're not having to deal with the discount from Ethereum, from the Grayscale Ethereum Trust. Now they're able to actually redeem it for Ethereum at spot price. And so that's why you saw $484 million of outflows from Ethereum. And that's also why Grayscale has set their fees so high, because they are using that fee to tax you on the way out. Listen, I love Grayscale. I love the fact that they have, helped pave the way for the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs, but you got to see what they're doing here. Everybody else realizes that they're trying to compete with an Ethereum ETF. Grayscale understands they're about to lose their butt, and they're about to lose probably 90% of their assets under management in the next 60 days. And so they put this 2.5% fee on there so that when people sell their $10 billion worth of Ethereum, then they can make a few $100 million in revenue over the next few days, roll that over into their newly created mini Grayscale Ethereum Trust, which did bring in $15 million. So that explains why we saw almost $500 million exit the Ethereum Grayscale Trust that was converted into the ETH Ethereum ETF. That is going to be temporary. And here's the reason. There's basically there was $9.2 billion in this trust, and it's like there's it's almost like that was in a water tower and somebody just like blew up the bottom of it and it's all just draining out really quickly. It won't be long before it's all completely drained, right? The amount of money in the Grayscale Trust is going to just vaporize in probably the next 2 to 3 weeks. Everybody who's holding the Ethereum Trust is paying any attention to the market is going to realize, wait a second, it kind of, what's the word here, sucks because the fees are 10 times higher than everybody else. I just basically doubled my investment because the difference in the discount price to the actual spot price is so great, so I'm going to sell right now. And I'm going to move some of that into the other funds. And so when we take out this number of $484 million in outflows and we add up these other numbers, then we get to that roughly $500 to $600 billion mark that we're seeing right now. Just punching into a calculator on my phone right here, we've got $266 million of inflows right here in ETH. In the Fidelity Ethereum ETF, we've got $71 million of inflows. Over here on the Bitwise ETF, I believe it is, we've got $204 million of inflows. We've also got 7.5 plus 7.6 plus 5.5 plus 13.2 plus 15.1, and that is $589,900,000 in inflows. In inflows on the Ethereum ETFs in the first day, if you exclude the Grayscale outflows. That's not exactly fair because some of those people that are selling out of the Grayscale fund are probably putting money into the other funds. They're just transitioning which fund they're holding because of fee structure and whatnot. But the point is, If you discount that, we're looking at upwards of $600 million of true inflows, discounting this kind of black swan event that's going on over there in Grayscale. If you want to be more conservative and say, okay, some people are moving money from Grayscale into the other funds, let's say $400 million of inflows that are true inflows, not just people cycling which fund they're going into in the first day. That is historic. And so when we saw some people saying, oh, we're going to see $1 to $2 billion of inflows in the first 90 days, I said, nonsense. I think in the first 6 months, you're going to see $15 billion of inflows. And so massive news going on Ethereum right now, and so we've got to talk about how that's impacting ETH. Here's the awesome thing about Ethereum right now. Ethereum has not actually taken a big dive on this news. This is very exciting. This is a very exciting development because one of the things we've been talking about is that all Ethereum needs to do from a technical analysis standpoint is not crash through the floor and drop like 30%. And this Ethereum launch is going to be one of the most bullish events in the history of Ethereum. It will hands down bring in more market capitalization than any other event in the history of that asset. We are currently worth $414 billion. Ethereum will probably be worth $600 to $700 billion by the end of the year, because of the inflows coming in, totaling probably $10 to $15 billion, which, of course, that could create $50 to $100 billion in market capitalization, not including the fact that we're going to be rallying so much and people will buy Ethereum on the traditional exchanges like Coinbase, Crypto.com, Blowfin, Binance, etc. I'm looking at least a $600 billion market capitalization on Ethereum by year's end, and I believe by the end of the next year, 2025, we could breach $1 trillion in valuation, which would take us to roughly $8,000 in price. I'm expecting somewhere between $8,000 and $11,000 as the all-time high of this market. Ethereum ETF is likely going to be greatly overshadowed by the Bitcoin launch. You've got to realize when Gold's ETF launched, it was the hot button issue for like a decade. It overshadowed everything for a very long time. And so when you saw the gold ETF go online, if another ETF goes online 6 months later, even if it's a great ETF, most of the attention is going to gold. And so that's what we're seeing right now also. Bitcoin is still very much in the early days of its launch. It's only 6 months old, and the cumulative assets under management, the cumulative inflows, of Bitcoin's spot ETFs is enormous. We're looking at $17.5 billion of inflows in the first 6 months. And this train isn't stopping anytime soon. If you'll notice, we've seen about 40% of the inflows that have occurred up to this date happened since the 8th of May on the Bitcoin ETF. Guess what? The 8th of May was back over here. Go ahead and draw a vertical line right here. The 8th of May was right there. So this line, this vertical line right there, represents this moment on the chart, 8th of May. Look at what happened after where my cursor is. We incredibly skyrocket. That means all these people on Wall Street that see Bitcoin doing this number, kind of trading sideways and generally being in a downtrend, not including the last couple of weeks, believe that this is just a bull flag and it's going to go higher. Listen, you've got degen money jumping in here. You've got investors jumping in here. Your mom and pop investors, people that are $1 million net worth, etc. You've got small-time investors jumping in here, and you've got the big institutions jumping in here, and they're just getting started. The cumulative inflow for the Bitcoin ETFs in the next 3 to 5 years is likely to be $100 to $200 billion in my prediction. This looks like a big number now. Mark my words. Take a screenshot of this, clip this, upload it on YouTube, go right ahead. Cumulative inflows for Bitcoin will be worth over $100 billion in the next 3 to 5 years. By end of decade, I believe the cumulative flow will be worth over 200, potentially even $250 billion, more than a 10x from where it is right now. And that will be an absolute enormous impact on the Bitcoin price, potentially sending us to over $250,000 by decade's end. That'd be 5 years from now, right? And so Bitcoin is going to dramatically overshadow the Ethereum ETF going online. Right now, we've seen $100 million of cumulative inflows, including the outflows from Grayscale. If not for the outflows from Grayscale, then we would likely have seen this number be $400 to $500 million of inflows. And that is a huge number that is actually larger than many of the numbers that have been printing recently for the Bitcoin flows. So Bitcoin's still huge. It is even more so than it normally would, overshadowing the Ethereum inflows. And so that's something that we've got to take in mind. We've got to keep that in mind and say, okay, so Ethereum is overshadowed by Bitcoin. That means that what we're seeing right now is just a glimpse of what we'll probably see in the future. Remember, people are buying Bitcoin because the hot thing, it's been around for longer and it's seen as digital gold. It's seen as a competitor to the multi-trillion-dollar asset, $10, $12 trillion asset that is gold. we are now seeing Ethereum go online, and Ethereum is almost a way of buying like an index fund of the entire decentralized finance space. All these lending platforms, all these DEXs, all this stuff is built on top of Ethereum. When you buy the Ethereum ETF, you're buying into the entire rest of the industry, essentially. With Bitcoin and Ethereum going online, you're going to see a fund that tracks both of them coming probably within the next 6 months, and that's going to be a big launch as well. That is the next story you're going to see, either a Solana ETF or a fund that incorporates both the Bitcoin and the Ethereum fund, so you can buy them like you would buy an index fund. One of those two things is going to be the next development that comes out of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Mark my words on that. That's what's going to happen most likely. But the main point here is that Ethereum is being overshadowed by Bitcoin, and it's still performing exceptionally well. I think there are going to be days in the next 12 to 24 months where you see over $1 billion a day of inflows into Ethereum, and I think the Ethereum ETF launching right now is going to lead Ethereum to triple in just the next 12 months. And so I would highly encourage you guys, if you have not already begun dollar cost averaging into Ethereum, one of the best decisions I ever made in investment was to dollar cost average into Ethereum, because my investment ended up more than 10xing because I held it for a long time. Again, I was dollar cost averaging 2 Ethereum a week. It was only $2,000 a month. Guys, I could have put 20 grand a month in it. I wish I had put 20 grand a month in it. I was putting $2,000 a month into Ethereum. I was buying 2 Ethereum every week. It's like $1,500. It's like $1,500 a month. It was nothing. I made $80,000 that month. I could have put more in, and I should have put more in. It's one of my regrets that I didn't put more in, right? I didn't cut expenses, increase income, invest as much as possible. The fact that I didn't do that is a regret of mine, but it's okay. We're investing now. We're putting a lot of money. And so Ethereum is going to perform very well, and I'm very excited for those of you guys who are expecting to, who are putting money into Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. I've been encouraging you guys all year, and for most of last year, if you just invest in those two assets, then you're going to be in good shape. All right, before we keep moving here, because there's a lot to cover today, I'm trying to run through it all quickly. I do want to let you guys know about NordVPN. If you guys have not already signed up for NordVPN, then you are missing out. And one of the reasons that I want you to sign up for NordVPN is I'm going to show you how to build a lot of wealth. But here's the thing. If a hacker comes in and steals it, then you just laid up your wealth for the sinner, for the hacker, for the evil person. That's not what I have for you. I'm not teaching you to build wealth so you can give it to an evil person. I'm teaching you to build wealth on the presumption that you're going to be a good steward of it. I don't want you to build wealth if you're going to go out there and just lose it all to a hacker. I would rather you just not do it, because I would rather you not go through the pain and the regret. I would rather you stay exactly where you are financially rather than build $1 million net worth and then lose 80% of it to a hacker in one day because you did not sign up for NordVPN and protect yourself while you browse online. NordVPN is going to simplify the security process. All you have to do is connect to one of their 7,000 or so servers around the world. You'll get to keep up to 90% of your browsing, of your internet speed, so it won't slow you down very much at all. You can stream in 4K on Netflix, Disney Plus, all that stuff. It's not going to really slow you down very much, and it's going to keep you safe because it will keep you private, and you're running your business through NordVPN servers instead of through just whatever server you want. NordVPN is an essential. I wouldn't say that if I didn't believe it. You need to have NordVPN turned on at all times and use it to protect yourself. So make sure you sign up by going to nordvpn.com/Jeb. It will be one of the best decisions you ever made in your online security. If you had $1 million in cash sitting in a pile, would you not at least use some of it to hire a security guard just to walk laps around it to make sure somebody doesn't come in and steal it? Of course you would. I would, right? Of course we would protect our wealth. NordVPN for like $3 a month is going to be the best protection that you can get for anything that you have going on online. For a 2-year plan, you can get it with our code for $93.51. For a 2-year plan, their standard package, you can get it for $93.51 is the price that I saw just a couple of weeks ago when I was helping one of our students go through and actually sign up for it. Very excited for you guys who signed up for NordVPN. Check it out down below. Anybody who has used NordVPN, tell us what you think. Matt said $2,000 a month, that would be an average person's whole wage. Yeah, I mean, so I have been very blessed to be in a strong financial position for a very long time. I have not been very wise with it, guys. I have done a lot of really stupid things with money. Not immoral, just dumb. I've been very moral, I think, with my money, but if being stupid with money is immoral, then maybe so, right? I have been a very bad manager of my wealth. I have personally done what a lot of you guys are on track to do, and I'm trying to stop you from doing it. When you think of me, think of this. I am trying to stop you from making the same mistakes I did. My biggest mistake financially was that I got really good at making money. I'm good. I'm not trying to brag. I've been blessed by God. All glory to him. It's his money, not mine. All of that. That's all true. And in all humility, I will say I have been very blessed with skill in making a lot of money. I've been very capable of making a lot of money. The most money I've ever made was I made $250,000 in a week one time, right? I've made over $5 million in my career, probably over $6 million at this point. And for the first 5 years or so of my journey, I was plumb dumb with it. I was so freaking stupid with it. I'll talk more about that another time, but what I will tell you is that I have been so stupid with money that I've had to learn so many hard lessons that if you'll just listen to me, you'll miss out on so much of the pain that I went through of like, oh my gosh, $1 million. Where'd that go? Oh, payroll, because I have 16 employees that all glory, you know, you know, in all respect to everybody, I had way too much expenses. And I was not investing enough of it. One of our philosophies, keep expenses overhead as low as possible. Keep a massive profit margin. Invest as much of that profit as you can. It's simple, but so many people that make a lot of money don't do it. So I very much am encouraging you guys, please, I'm begging you for your sakes. I care about your soul. I care about your success. I care about your future. And I have this radical belief that I hope that you'll do good things with the money after you've earned it. I'm going to show you how to build wealth. Please listen to me. It's not for my sake. It's for you. I don't get motivation for 7 years like I've had for doing something selfishly. I just get bored, move on. Like the only reason I've been so motivated for a decade almost to help you guys financially is because it's truly about you. I can't stay motivated on anything that long if it's not for somebody else. Like if I'm going to the gym, if I'm doing this, if I'm doing that, I gotta, in my mind, I just get bored and I do something else if it's for me. I'm scatterbrained. The only way I stay on one track for a long time is by figuring out how it's for somebody else. I gave up my passion of wanting to go into astrophysics because I could not figure out how I was going to help people with it. I still love it. Passion for it. I cannot wrap my head around how I'm going to practically help millions of people doing that. You can, but I couldn't figure out how I was going to do it. So I just left that and I said, no, I'm going to do this because this is how I can actually help people. And that's what I want to do. I'm going to help you to build wealth. I'm going to help you to not make the mistakes I made and do the things right that I've done. So subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And I will show you how to build millions of dollars of wealth. And it's going to be a lot simpler than you think it is. That's the biggest thing that I can share with you is clarity. I'm going to show you clearly how to do that. We've got so many influencers going around saying, do this, do this, do that. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. And if you just follow what I say, you're going to end up being in a much better position than you are. Believe me. I've been through just about every mistake you can make with money. Believe me, I know I've got a lot more to make. I've been through so many mistakes with money that if you just do what I did, you just did the opposite of what I did for the first 5 years of my career and just do what I'm doing now that I've had to learn, you will be in good shape. All right, let's keep it moving here. Couple of points I want to make before we jump onto the charts about the political situation. Kamala Harris has been starting her campaign. She's got a lot of support very quickly. She raised over $100 million in one day. She's been on a lot of phone calls, and she has sent their team kind of sent out like a Google form to a lot of delegates. She's got the almost 2,000 delegates sign off that she needs to get the party's nominee. So she is at this point the presumptive party nominee. The Democratic National Convention, excuse me, has promised a candidate for the general election by August 7th. So we're going to have a decision on whether Kamala Harris is the Democratic National, the DNC's nominee by August 7th. This has been turbulent for markets ever since Joe Biden dropped out of the, President Joe Biden has dropped out of the political race here. We have seen a corrective movement on Bitcoin's price. Presumably, the reason for this is because it was looking to be, some people were trying to cover it up, and which was complete nonsense. It has been exceedingly obvious for at least a month now that Trump was going to absolutely obliterate Joe Biden. He was going to absolutely annihilate him. It was probably going to be one of the biggest landslides that we had seen in decades. I mean, I can't think of the last time we saw a presidential race that was going to be that easy. And it's not because everybody in the United States loves Trump. It's because nobody in the United States believes Joe Biden can string a sentence together. And again, I'm not trying to disrespect the guy. He's just old, right? Listen, we can talk about his politics all day. We're just talking about his mental capacity. It's not there anymore. You got to be very mentally fit to run the country. That's not the deal with Kamala Harris. She does at least appear to be at least appear to the American people to be very mentally coherent, right? And so when Joe Biden dropped out of the race, the odds of Trump winning the election in a landslide went down. Well, the reason that that's important is because we don't know what Kamala Harris thinks on Bitcoin. If she thinks anything like what Biden does, which would make sense, she was his vice president, is his vice president, it would make sense that that could bring some uncertainty to traditional markets and also to Bitcoin. Because if Kamala Harris does win, we don't know her stance on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but it's probably not as bullish as Trump's. And so this rally here was bracketed by Trump's assassination attempt, basically makes him a shoe-in for the office because everybody's going to want to rally behind the guy because he looked very strong in that moment. And then this rally ended, again, it was bracketed, it ended by Biden dropping out. So literally, this rally right here was almost exclusively, in my opinion, because of the rise of Trump's landslide victory, idea, and then, him basically beating Biden before it was over and having to face a new opponent. So, historic moment in crypto. We're definitely going to have to see the cryptocurrency space go through a little bit of turbulence because there are uncertain waters ahead, at least until she gets the nomination. Now, with that in mind, the good news about what Bitcoin's doing here and what Ethereum are doing here is that we have not just seen a capitulation. There has been this theory that when Ethereum launches, we could see a correction for the first 7 to 14 days. That was our prediction because I wanted to be safe about it. But honestly, Ethereum has not gone through a massive correction. I mean, can you even see on this chart where the Ethereum ETF launched? Can you? I mean, like really? I mean, it's not very clear. You've got to really look here to figure out where it launched. ETH ETF goes online yesterday here. We saw a correction for a few hours. It's not very obvious. It just looks like noise in the chart, dropped 3% in 4 hours. And then we just traded sideways. The impact on Ethereum from the Ethereum ETF's launch was essentially non-existent. And so that gives us this confidence that, all right, if Ethereum just holds its own, if Ethereum just doesn't crash hard like Bitcoin did after its ETF launched, Ethereum's going to be fine. It's probably going to explode because Bitcoin, after its 22% drop in 14 days, after it dropped 21% in 14 days, Bitcoin nearly doubled, rallied $35,000, 92.94% in 50 days. If Ethereum doesn't even have a launch crash, which it doesn't look like it's going to at this point, if it was gonna happen, it probably would have at least begun by now. Then what will Ethereum do following the ETF's actual launch? Excuse me, the ETF's first 60 to 90 days. Well, if history gives us any bearing of where we're going, then we could very easily see a rally of 90-some%. If we did see a rally of 90-some% in the first little while here, we would see Ethereum rally to $6,500 before October. Yeah. And here's a reason why that actually could happen. Ethereum's worth less than Bitcoin. It's got a smaller market capitalization than Bitcoin. And so it's easier to move the market with smaller flows. We're seeing huge flows on Ethereum so far. We're going to see even bigger flows in the next couple of months. And the market capitalization is smaller, so it's easier to move the market. It's easier to move a one-ton ship than it is to move a 200,000-ton cargo ship. It just takes less force. It's simpler. And so Ethereum is likely getting set up here for a large rally. And so this is where our kind of price prediction comes in for the beginning of this stream. With Ethereum having its ETF go online, I'm looking at it going to at least $5,000 to $6,000, which would be a 45% rally to a 75% rally before the end of the year. That would look something like this. On the chart, it would look something like this. Just basically a vertical line up. And the reason that we're thinking that that's going to happen is because historically, that's what we've seen happen with Ethereum. We've seen kind of this large correction here after the Bitcoin ETF rally. We've traded sideways. We've consolidated. We've locked in gains. We've built a huge amount of VRVP support up here. If we just kind of cut off that bottom part of the chart here, we can look at the VRVP here. Large amount of Ethereum VRVP support being built up here. Huge amount of it, right? Massive amount of VRVP support, even right here at about $3,500. So basically, all Ethereum has to do is break through its VRVP. This is what we were saying the other day on Monday on Bitcoin. Ethereum basically just has to break through the VRVP point of control, which currently sits at $3,500. $3,500. This red line right here. Point of control. It is the point of the maximum trading that has occurred in the view range, which is the last, basically this year. Basically year to date. This chart basically goes back to the 3rd of January. So year to date, this is where we've had the most trading at $3,500. This has been almost like the average price of Ethereum. Not quite the average, but you can kind of think of it like that. If Ethereum can break through that, then it's all downhill from here. Down the hill of the VRVP up towards all-time high. Because it's like a mountain, right? You got a ball on top of a mountain. If it starts to roll that way, it rolls all the way down. If it starts to roll this way, it rolls all the way down. We're sitting on the top of the mountain. We just need a little gust of wind. Boom, knock over. We go a couple $100 to the upside. Dominoes start falling. Ethereum starts rallying. Same deal on Bitcoin right now. Don't forget, same thing's going on right now on Bitcoin. If we look at the year to date here, We've got that same VRVP point of control. You'll be seeing a video on this. Same VRVP point of control sitting at $66,900. We are potentially just a couple $1,000s on Bitcoin, just a couple $100s on Ethereum away from an enormous rally. And so we've got to watch this closely because just a couple $100 higher, off to the races. And so I am very confident that a huge, huge rally is going to be coming in Bitcoin and Ethereum very soon. And there are a lot of reasons for that as we've unpacked. I want you guys to succeed with that. So for the last part of the stream here, I'm going to talk about how you can succeed with that. Some of you are going to click out because you're going to say, Jeb, that's too simple. That's not going to work. Those of you who have the wisdom to listen to what I'm about to say are going to be better off for it. Now, maybe you're already doing this, and I get that. But if you don't want to listen to what I'm about to share with you, then don't be surprised when 5 years... You're not going to realize this next year. You're not going to realize this next month. You're going to realize that what I said was right 5 years from now. And by then, 5 years have passed and it was too late. So I'm about to share you the wisdom that I have from the last 7 years. If you want to grow, then listen to what I have to say. By wise counsel, men shall go to war, the Bible says. I want you to go to war to build wealth. I want you to wage this war on chaos and build wealth, generational wealth, change your life. But you've got to listen to wise counsel. I've done this. You've got to listen to what we have to say. And if you don't believe me, listen to the hundreds of people in chat right now that are doing exactly what we're about to talk about. Ask them what they think of the process that we're about to unveil. Now, before we get to that, I do want to let you know about one of our sponsors who I'm very excited about. And they are none other than the Vault product by the Uphold Exchange. Vault is an incredibly important product. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you to keep yourself safe. Here's the deal. If you are self-custodying Bitcoin, that's awesome. You're at risk. If you lose that key, you lost your coins. I love self-custody, but what I don't love about self-custody is one mistake and your entire investment is gone. If you've got $10,000, $100,000, $1 million in Bitcoin, and you make one mistake, it's all gone. Just imagine you had a Ferrari and your parking spot's on the edge of a cliff. How freaked out should you be about that? You should be freaked out about that. You should give yourself some kind of security so the thing doesn't fall over, right? Here's the deal with Uphold's Vault. Instead of self-custodying, and if you lose a key, you lost everything, if you lose a key, you don't lose everything. How's that for a solution? That's a pretty good idea, right? How about if your Ferrari fell off the cliff and just Superman comes up and lifts it up and puts it gently right back into its space? That's Uphold is Superman in this case, right? This is not insurance, but it kind of acts like it because it protects your assets. Here's the way it works. You've got two keys, not one. This is called a multi-sig wallet. It's multi-sign-off, multi-signature wallet. And so you've got two keys that access your wallet. What happens if you lose one of them? Lost your keys? Nope, because you've actually got three keys. Uphold keeps one of them. Should you lose one of your keys and you can't sign off on a transaction, then the Uphold key can step in to sign off on transactions and step in to regenerate the entire wallet so you get back to this 2/3 configuration. The way this works practically for you, that's kind of the tech, but the way it works practically for you is if you lose a key, you don't lose your coins. And it means that you are 100% self-custody. Uphold has no custody of your assets. They only have one key to help you regenerate the wallet. It's basically like having private custody with a helpline. Hey, I lost a key. I don't want to lose my $174,000. Can you fix this? Yeah, they can fix it. That's awesome. That is an incredible piece of technology. You should absolutely sign up with the link in the description box down below. Now, let's read chat for a second, and then we're going to talk about how we can build wealth in the cryptocurrency space. Mike Lowry said, Jeb, how is that church doing that you decided to help? They did go ahead and close the doors on the academy, which was very sad. It was a big tearjerker for all of the teachers. It was an incredible place, and it is now dead. And the reason that I want that I mention that and read that chat is because of financial mismanagement. That church's preschool had to close, and it's very sad because there were 60-odd students there that were, loved by their teachers. They were learning about the Lord Jesus every single day, and they were growing. And it was a good place. It was a really good academy, really good school. You've got some preschools and some daycares and whatnot that are just like mills. You just send your kid there, they don't die, and that's good enough for them. That's where some of those kids are probably going right now. And that's very sad. Luckily, our son has a great placement, place he's been to before. He knows everybody there. He's in great shape. We're doing fine. We've been very blessed. But it was a very sad thing because I had the books. I had the P&L and the balance sheet on my laptop. I know what was going on financially. I wrote a 9-page plan the night that we got the message that they were closing down to save the academy. Operation Save the Academy. I wrote an entire plan on a cost-cutting campaign that did not have to impact the teachers or the parents that much. Just a few big tweaks could have saved the place. Didn't want to do it. Here's what I learned from that situation. I can give you a bulletproof plan to save your organization. I can give you a bulletproof plan to save your personal finances. And if you don't do what I tell you to do, if you don't follow the wisdom of somebody who has been here, done that, got the postcard, got the t-shirt, wrote the book, built the academy, has a few 100,000 people listening, if you're not willing to do that, again, it's not me, it's God. Thank you to him for sharing this with me about how we should handle our money. If you're not willing to listen to wise counsel and you're not willing to fight, because it takes a fight. If you're going broke, you got to go to war or you die. Those are your options. And unfortunately, after fighting the wrong way for a few years, they chose to die. And that's not what I want for you. So my lesson from that is to be even more bold about, please, listen when people are giving you wise counsel. I see the cliff that you are driving towards. I see the rock wall that your train is driving towards. And I'm trying to get you on a better track where you'll actually grow. And if you don't listen to me, if you don't listen to wise counsel, then you're going to go off the cliff. And I'm going to sit back here watching it happen saying, I told you that was going to happen. Now you're in so much pain because you didn't listen to me. I don't want that for you. So yeah, they closed their doors and it breaks my heart. But I know that I did everything I could because I gave them a bulletproof plan. I was going to raise $54,000 by the end of the week. We were going to contribute a few $1,000s towards it to saving the academy. I had donors backed up. I had people that were going to do it. The only reason that place is not open is because they did not choose to fight. They did not choose to fight. That's the only reason. It's the only reason. So I love them. Love the academy. Love the people in leadership over there. I have so much care for them. And it's because I care about them that it breaks my heart that they chose not to fight. All right, let's go ahead and keep it moving here. I want to talk a little bit about how to actually build your wealth here in crypto. So how do you take CoinMarketCap here? How do you take TradingView here? How do you take all of these different resources that we have here, these assets, and build wealth with them? Here is where you start. You've got to get on our pathway. You've got to get on our pathway of going from a chaotic debtor to an intentional investor. This is how you're going to succeed. This is as simple as I can put it. I cannot simplify it anymore. I have taken as much of my teaching and simplified it into single sentence philosophies as I possibly can. As with financial sovereignty, I tell you, my goal is to be mastered by nothing, but to have mastery over those things which I am supposed to be in control of. That's not a Bible verse. I wrote that. I have intended to be in control of those things which I'm supposed to be in control over. And I am intended to not be a slave to those things which I should not be serving. That is my goal of any part of my life. I do not want to be a slave to finances. I do not want to be a slave to caffeine. I do not want to be a slave to any kind of recreation, call it video games, alcohol, none of that. I want to be a free man. And with that freedom, I want to go and build wealth, and I want to go and build the kingdom, and I want to go and help people. So how do we build our wealth in cryptocurrency? Well, here's the simple philosophy. We go from, I'll just go ahead and draw it over here on TradingView. We go from where we start, which is, let's go to a different chart that's clean. We go from a chaotic debtor, and we go towards an intentional investor. These are the polar opposite of each other. Chaos, intentional. Debtor, investor. They are polar opposites. They are what we call a dichotomy. You're one or the other, but you cannot be both. Technically, you can be a debtor and an investor. In the way that I'm going to teach you to build wealth, which I believe is the best way to build wealth, you're not going to be either one. Technically, you could be, but you certainly cannot be chaotic and intentional at the same time. That's not possible. They are literally opposites. My goal is to teach you to go from this to this. Now, Jeb, what in the world does this have to do with the price of Bitcoin? And what in the world does this have to do with Ethereum? Well, if you want to build wealth, I think we can all agree that you need to be an investor, right? Well, to be a good investor, you have to be intentional, correct? Well, to be intentional, you cannot be chaotic, right? And to be an investor, which means somebody who is a master of their wealth, you cannot be a slave to your wealth, which we know from the Holy Scriptures that being a debtor means that you are a slave. It's not sin to go into debt. There are times where it's necessary. Let's say you've got a medical bill. Pay us $1 million, or we're not going to save you from cancer. All right, yeah, go take out some debt and live. Okay? But we're not going to go into debt for our investments because we intend to be the master of our wealth, not a slave to our wealth. I know some of you are saying, but what about all these people that build a lot of wealth with using mortgages and debt? You can do it, and you're a slave to it. I would rather you be free and worth $1 million than a slave who cannot sleep at night because you're in so much freaking debt and the world could fall apart at any moment and be worth more than that. That's what I would rather be, and that's what, by the way, you're taught in the Word. So if you're a Christian, I highly encourage you to go this route. So how does this apply? To not be chaotic, we need a plan. To not be a debtor, we need to get out of debt. And to do both of those things, we've got to have a mindset shift. We've got to shift from having this chaotic mindset to having this mindset of being intentional. We've got to say, I am no longer just going to kind of be reactionary, because under these, what are some of the things under chaotic? Reactionary, unplanned, disorganized. How many people do you know that are highly successful, that are reactionary, they are unplanned, and they are disorganized? Name one. You're not going to find them. I'm not talking about people that are worth $1 million. I'm talking about people that are worth 10 million, 100 million, a billion. We've got to eliminate this. I'm working on eliminating this in every area of my life. And I've got a lot of work to do. You guys, some of it's, visible from the public. I've got to work on my timeliness. I've got to work on being more organized, more structured. These are all things that behind the scenes, I am personally working on developing and being better at. You've got to do that too. We've got to do this together. This is not a Jeb's better than you thing. It's not. It's a Jeb needs this. Jeb is preaching to himself here. I am sharing this with myself. But to be intentional, we've got to have plans. We've got to have plans. We've got to be non-reactionary. Instead, we've got to be proactive. We've got to be organized. We've got to have vision. Right? One of the things about chaos is that instead of having vision, we have no vision. We've got to have a vision. We've got to have a mission, right? No vision, no mission. We've got to figure out, how do we have vision? How do we have mission for our wealth? How do we do these things? Well, we've got to say, hey, instead of being reactionary, all right, I'm just, oh my gosh, an Ethereum ETF launch, I'm going to buy it. No, we're going to have a plan. We're going to say, all right, I know the Ethereum ETF is coming in 3 weeks. Here's the plan for how we're going to deal with that when that comes. We're not just going to say, oh my gosh, the market's falling through the floor, I'm going to sell everything. No, we're going to be non-reactionary. We're going to have a plan. And instead, we're going to say, when the market falls through the floor, in a way, we'll react to that, but it's not a reactionary emotional. It's not an emotional reaction. It's a assertive and logical and pre-planned and premeditated reaction. We're going to react to the market by having an investment plan. We have cash on the side. We're going to dump money into it. We've got to make these heart changes. We've got to make these changes in our spirit if we want to build wealth. And so, Jeb, I know you're saying, Jeb, that's great and all. I don't care. How do we actually do it? Here's the application, because I'm not in the business of giving philosophy just to get brownie points, just so people can clap their hands and say, good job, Jeb, you really know what you're talking about. No, I'm in the business of taking the philosophy and sharing with you how to apply it into actual practical steps. I'm all about practicality. This stuff is philosophical, and in a way it's practical, but how do we practically do this? Here are the things that you need to do to become an intentional investor. Here they are. I'm going to try and list them out in order of importance. First things first. Plan for money. We've got to have under that, we've got a budget for our personal finances, and under that, we've got an investment plan. We've got to have both of these for each respective area of our wealth. We've got to have a budget for our monthly income. Your income is your most powerful wealth building tool. You've got to have income, and if you want to build wealth, the most important thing that you can do after getting control of the wealth is to have more of it. The best way to get more wealth from where you are right now tomorrow, more income from where you are right now tomorrow, is by having a plan for your money and cutting back on areas that you can cut back. Having a budget gives you a command and control center for your finances. It is the single most important wealth building tool that you will ever create in your entire life. There is not a single thing other than prayer that is more important for your wealth building journey than a budget and a plan for your money. Not a single thing, because it's where you control your wealth. To be financially sovereign, you have to be in control of your wealth. A budget and an investment plan are the two places where you exert authority and control and assertiveness over your wealth and tell it where to go rather than wondering where it went. You've got to have a plan for your money. That is step number one. Step number two, we've got to work on getting out of debt. And I'm going to specify here non-mortgage. If you wait to invest until you paid off your mortgage, you will end up generating less wealth, because many of you guys are right. You do have very low interest rates. Some of you guys have locked in 2.25% interest rates. I don't want you to worry too much about paying that off. I do want you to make progress every month to paying it off early. But for you, if you've got a 2.25% interest rate, after we invest for retirement, you might put $100 a month into paying it off. Maybe you're not too worried about it. You're like, whatever. And maybe you'll put $900 a month into extra investments, $1,000 a month, $1,500, $2,000 a month into extra investments. Depending on the interest rate of the mortgage, and depending on how early you are in the mortgage, because of the way the amortization table works, we're going to put that much emphasis on paying off the mortgage early. If you're super early in your loan, you're going to work on paying it off early more because you're early in the amortization process and you will save more money on interest. And if you've got a higher interest rate, you're going to put more emphasis on paying off the mortgage early. If you've got a 2.25% mortgage and you're in the last 10 years, okay, fine, whatever. Most of the money you're paying is going into principal anyway. You're not paying as much money in interest. At that point, you are getting pretty cheap debt. And so we're going to want to go ahead and put more of our emphasis in that step 9 of the FinSolve way, which is investing for extra wealth generation. These are the two first things that you've got to do. Pay off your debt. Snowball method, you can, if you want to, use the avalanche method. I highly recommend the snowball method. It is far more successful, statistically proven. It is far more successful to pay off smallest to largest first. And if you've got one that's insanely high, then you can take out a different kind of debt to pay off that debt that is lower interest. So let's say you've got a 28% APR on a credit card. You could take out a personal loan that's at 5, 6, 7, 8% to pay off the credit card. Now you're dealing with an 8% loan. So those are some of the things you can do to get out of debt. Because again, we're going from reactionary, unplanned, disorganized, no vision, no mission, chaotic debtor. We're going from those to being an intentional investor. We got to work on getting out of debt. From there, the next thing that you do for your wealth is you begin to invest. Obviously, I'm trying to lay this out for you simply because this is what I needed to hear when I got started. When I got started, I'm like, oh, money, cool. How's that work? I don't know. I'll just read the market. Somehow I'll be wealthy from that. Well, reading the market's great, but if you don't do these things, then understanding where the market's going means nothing. It makes no difference. So we're going to invest. How do we do that? Well, we're going to invest for retirement first. And the reason for that is because I'm more interested in you being secure for the rest of your life than I am in you building more wealth right now. That being said, after we put some money in for retirement, maybe for you that's maxing out your Roth IRAs, I recommend as a standard to put 15% of your household income into retirement accounts. But again, for you, maybe you just say, hey, I'm going to max out myself and my spouse's Roth IRA and put some towards our 401k, and that's enough for us. Okay, fine. After that, we're going to put some... we're going to invest in things that generate wealth otherwise. For us, that might be cryptocurrency. For me, I'm putting some of our investment money into saving for a cash purchase on a rental property. Now, we're saving, several $1,000s a month right now for a cash purchase on a rental property. We're saving, currently my target is to save up $200,000 to purchase our first rental property. We have saved about $6,000 this month for that goal. So we're putting money away for a cash purchase on a rental property right now. Why cash? Well, let me just break out some numbers for you. Let's say you purchase a property at $200,000. Let's say it's a $250,000 property. Down payment, 20%. 20% down payment. And so it's a $200,000 mortgage. Let's say you buy that mortgage at a 7% interest rate, which is current. 7% interest rate is about the current interest rate, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to look at this as a 7% interest rate because that's not really how much you're paying on that money. That's just 7% a year. Let's say it's a 30-year fixed mortgage. You've got to multiply the 7% by 30 because you're paying 7% on $200,000 a year. And then, of course, that's front-loaded through the amortization, but that's actually how much you're paying for the mortgage. So you're paying $200K times, let's say, 7% a year times 30 years equals 210% on the money. You're paying 210% on the money at 7%. So that means you've got a $200,000 loan. Nobody explains it this way because everybody wants to talk about leverage your money, leverage your money. BS. I understand that you're going to have to take out a mortgage to buy your first home, your primary residence. Don't buy rental properties this way. 200K times 210% means you're going to be paying $200,000 for the mortgage in principal, not including the $50,000 you put down, but $200,000 in principal, and then you're going to be paying $410,000 in interest. So you're an investor, right? You're trying to make money. So on a $250,000 property, including the, let's go ahead and bring this down here. On the $200,000 property, you paid $50,000 in down payment. Because you took out a loan, you probably paid $20,000, let's call it $25,000 in closing costs. So now on this property, because of that interest payment and the extra closing costs, you're paying, let's see if I can do the head math here, $610,000, $660,000. You're paying $685,000 total over 30 years. for the property. Now let's factor it if you were paying $250,000 in cash. You pay $250,000 in cash, and that's about it. Closing costs are lower, so let's call it $15,000. So in 30 years, we've paid $265,000 for the property. Now let's factor in the fact that you're also going to get a discount because you're paying in cash, generally about 5%. You're actually probably paying a little bit less than that. You're probably paying $257,000 over 30 years. Is it going to be easier to make income by trying to recuperate a $685,000 investment on a $250,000 property, or just trying to recuperate a $250,000 property? It's going to take you longer. Like we have the money right now. We could go purchase 2 or 3 rental properties pretty easily if we were willing to put 20% down. If we wanted to do that, we could go have probably 3 single-family properties right now with our current net worth. We could do that. Why? I don't want to pay $1 million for a $300,000 property over 30 years. But yeah, leverage your money. But I've got the money and the income because I've worked very hard to build a strong income. I've got the income where I could just spend a year, save up, buy the property in cash. Oh my gosh, yeah, but it's going to appreciate 5% in the next year. What the heck? Yeah, but I would rather do that and buy the thing in cash than spend 3x the purchase price because of the amount of money the debt's going to cost. So here's what you've got to do. You've got to pay off the debt. Be intentional, be an investor without debt. Do you understand why I say go from a chaotic debtor to an intentional investor? You're going to get a slower start if you don't use debt to... I hear of people that I know somebody who, again, it's gossip. I've heard this. I didn't hear it firsthand, but I know of people that are talking about taking out debt to buy Bitcoin. Foolish. Nonsense. Don't do that. Here's how you build wealth. You understand the market. You get a plan. You execute it. And here's how you'll do this in Bitcoin and Ethereum. You're going to purchase it on a regular schedule. Same way right now, we are on a regular schedule. Every single week, we're putting money into an account to purchase a rental property. Every single week for a long time there, we were putting money in paying off debts. Every single week for a while there, and we'll be doing this again soon, we're putting money into purchasing cryptocurrencies. And this all comes because we've got lower expenses, higher income, we've got margin there, and we're able to invest that. That process consistently, not just I bought 100K of Ethereum, I'm going to be a millionaire. It'd have to 10x for you to do that. No, we're going to put a couple $1,000s a month into investments if we can. And that's going to grow. And over time, you're going to end up becoming extremely wealthy because you did that. And you're going to build wealth faster in the long run because you didn't use debt to do it. Now, you're going to have a slower start, and people are going to laugh at you. They're going to mock you. People mock me. Yeah, if you could go buy 3 rental properties right now with debt, then why aren't you doing that? Well, that's why I just explained why I'm not doing that. Because I would rather spend $257,000 on a property in cash, spend a year or 2 saving up for it because we've got a strong income, than doing this. But Jeb, I don't have that kind of money. Go buy a condo. Go buy a vacation rent. Go buy something that's 300 square feet and rent it out on Airbnb to get your foot in the door. Or better yet, start a business, figure out how to make $10,000 a month and squirrel it away for a year or 2. Get a small property that's going to cash flow like a crazy person and then roll it. It's going to take longer. I understand you're going to need to reach a critical mass of income to be able to increase the position of the portfolio faster than the appreciation of the property values. I realize that, but that's where you need to work on a strong income. Becoming a real estate investor is not for the faint of heart. It's not for people that are making 100K a year. It's for people that are making 2, 3, 4, 5, 600K a year. You've got to work on the income if you want to get your foot in the door on that. I understand having to use mortgage debt to get into your first, your primary residence. If you need to use mortgage debt to become a real estate investor, then my friend, you're probably not ready for it yet. So that's where I want you guys to go from a chaotic debtor to an intentional investor. That's my mission for you. I'm going to use that philosophy for the rest of my life to help you guys build wealth. And I want you guys to see that that is how you're going to succeed. One final point on this mortgage stuff. If you have a 3%, let's say a 2.5% mortgage, then this does change the equation for your primary residence, right? Because instead of 210%, you're paying, let's see, what, 75% on your money over the course of the loan? That's not bad. So if you've got a 2.5% mortgage, you're going to be less, it's going to be less urgent for you to pay off that mortgage. So in your step 8 and 9 of the Fence-Off Way, step 8 of the Fence-Off Way, pay off mortgage early. Step 9, invest for extra wealth generation. Right? If you've got a 2.5% mortgage, then you're going to be putting a lot more of your money here into step 9. You may put $1,000 a month here, and you might put $200 a month if that's let's say you have the 2.5% mortgage, right? Let's say you've got a 7% mortgage. Okay, of the $1,200, you might put $500 a month here, and you might put $700 a month here because you've got a higher interest rate mortgage. Making sense? Makes sense? How much money you put in step 8 and step 9? Of course, after you paid off your mortgage, then step 8 disappears, and you just have step 9. But depending on how much money you put into each one of those is dependent on the interest rate and the whether it's a variable rate mortgage. If you did that, refinance as soon as possible, and also if it's a 15-year. If it's a 15-year, then you can put less money into it because you're just going to be saving interest money on the interest just by nature of how it works, by nature of the length of the loan. So that's just kind of my teaching there on step 8 and 9 of FinSolve Way. I hope you guys have been enjoying that. And we will be, just so you know, we will be kind of diversifying the content here as we have our baby and I get back on a full-time schedule here. I'm going to be kind of separating these two concepts out into their own pillars of content so it's not kind of overlapping. I know some people are like, oh my gosh, I came for crypto. You're talking about real estate. What the heck? We're going to be kind of separating that so that they're both there, but you can kind of pick and choose which one you want. I understand it's kind of jumbled right now. We're going to be making that more structured and organized in our case because I want to have a good example for you guys. So stay tuned for that. Looking forward to seeing you guys succeed. Freedom Advocate said methodical. That's the way. You don't succeed without being methodical. You don't show up in the gym and just do whatever you want every day. You don't just wing it and then succeed. No, you have a plan. Mo Cheating just became a Jedi Youngling. Welcome, welcome to the stream. Welcome to our content here. He said, liking what I'm seeing, or she, but they said, liking what I'm seeing. Thank you so very much. Welcome. Love you. Want to see you succeed. I'm going to show you how to do it. If you absolutely follow what we're teaching, then you will see a lot of success. I put $200 a month into DCA. Awesome. Great. Shadrach Frost said, I want to have lunch with Jeb someday, Lord willing. Guys, I'm going to get way better at networking when, after I get back on a full-time schedule. We might be having the baby next week. So I'm like really in crunch mode, getting ready for that right now. Luckily, I run a business with a lot of income streams where I have the ability to step back a little bit. And so I'm kind of doing that right now. I'm mainly doing the stream and the content, just working on loving on my wife, caring for her. You know, she's got a lot of complications going on. So I'm putting as much effort into taking care of her and her precious heart and our precious baby as I can right now. But here about 8 weeks postpartum, so long as things are healthy, we'll be back full-time. We're going to be launching FinSolve Academy. I'm going to be teaching you guys this stuff every single day in there, and I'm going to be meeting a lot of you guys face-to-face. So that's going to be a lot of fun. You guys will be able to see more content like this over at FinSolve Academy. We've got a lot of partners that are going to be helping us with that. So a lot of great things coming. I'm feeling like we're in a very strong position to teach you guys about all that. And Shadrach Frost, I'm sure in FinSolve Academy, because I assume you will probably be joining it. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it just seems like something you would be interested in. Then we'll probably get to meet, and that would be great. I would love that. I would love that. All right. Michael Lee said, me and 279 people want to hear about crypto. I get it. I totally understand it. And as I said, we will be kind of giving pillars to each of those content styles to help to work on that. So I appreciate the candid feedback, guys. I ask for respect and kindness in chat, but even if you don't show me that, I actually really appreciate the feedback. If you guys have negative feedback, I want to hear that. Like, one of the things I've had to learn in my marriage is if my wife is telling me, hey, Jeb, you're not very good at this, I can't get offended at that. God gave her a different perspective to say, hey, sweetie, you know, you're not very good at this. I sat down with her for an hour yesterday. I'm like, hey, can you tell me some of the areas I need to grow in? Like, where am I strong? Where am I weak? I want to hear that because I am not insecure. I don't have a fragile ego. I want to grow, and the only way I can grow is knowing where I suck so that I can work on not sucking at that area. So appreciate that, Michael Lee. Would appreciate you being a little more kind. As I would be kind to you if I was sharing some constructive criticism with you, but I do appreciate the feedback, and we will be working on keeping those things kind of in their own pillars as time goes on. Cynthia Dizon said, ugh, we'll miss you when you're out. I know, but stay tuned because we've got so much coming. Guys, I have never been so excited for the company and for the channel. Guys, we are going to explode in the next 12 months. I've learned so much about how to run this organization in the last year or two, and now we're just going to be applying all of it. We're going to be doing so much stuff. I'm just so excited about what the next 2 years have in store for the Crypto Jeb YouTube channel. We're going to be launching FinSolve Academy. You guys are going to see me everywhere. I'm going to be doing so many talks, so many interviews. We're going to be bringing people on the channel. I'm going to be going on other channels. It's going to be a lot of fun in the business side of things and in teaching you guys. I really feel very strongly that I know who I am, what I need to share. I have way more, just being vulnerable here, because that's what's gotten me to where I am. You know, I have way more understanding about who the brand of Crypto Jeb McAfee is supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be sharing with you guys, and I know my weaknesses. I know what I need to do to grow. I know where I need to go to grow financially, grow spiritually, grow, you know, from a structure and a financial sovereignty standpoint. And so we're going to be doing that, and you guys are going to get to see me go from somebody who, to be honest with you, I feel pretty disorganized a lot of time, to I know what I need to do to be super organized and help you guys succeed. And you guys are going to get to see that. And that's going to be really cool because we get to go along the journey together. I don't care if you guys know exactly who I am. I don't care if you know my flaws. I know my flaws. I'm working on them, right? So you got some flaws too. I ain't trying to hide nothing. I don't give a crap if you know my dirty laundry. I don't care. I'm me. I'm growing. I'm working on it. I own my faults, and I'm going to work on them, and you need to do the same thing if you want to succeed. That's what we're going to do here, is we're going to create a space where we can join together, be honest about, hey, I'm not very good at this. I need to grow in this area. And then we can actually work together as a team to grow in that area. That's really going to be some of the lifeblood of the Financial Sovereignty Academy when that gets launched. Looking at a launch date later this year. We're going to get it launched, get you guys in. We're going to grow it. It's going to be so much fun. Stay tuned for that. Guys, I do have to wrap it out. I'm way over time, but that's okay. I want to share with you guys my heart, and I want you guys to know the vision and the mission for what we're doing. Stay tuned. You're going to be so glad you're here. If you enjoyed today's video, I want to ask you, hit the like button or the dislike button. Like the video, let me know. Didn't like the video, dislike it, but tell me why. Just please be honest. If you dislike the video, go ahead. Tell me you didn't like it. I appreciate the feedback, but I do want to know why. So if you're not going to tell me why you didn't like the video in the comments, then don't dislike it. That's not fair to me. I don't want you to just be like, you suck, and not tell me why. Like, if I suck, then tell me why so I can do something about it, right? So if you didn't like the video, hit the dislike button. Tell me in the comments, not in the live chat, because that's going to disappear. In the comments down below why you didn't like the video. I love the feedback. Positive, negative, I don't care. Be kind. If you're not, I can still hear it. I'm a big boy. I got big boy pants on, you know. I'm wearing big boy pants below the camera here. I can take it. But I do want to know why. So if you didn't like the content, let me know why. If you did like the content, also let me know why. Say, Jeb, do some more of this. This is great. I want to grow. I want to be a good example to you guys. Let me know how you felt about the content. If you also like the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like the content, subscribing to the channel allows you to see more of the content. So subscribing to the channel, hitting the post notification bell is good for you because you're going to see more of what we have been doing. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. I should also let you know before we go about Crypto.com. They're one of our sponsors, and very excited to have them. And by the way, there is a big deal going on over here on X for Crypto.com. Let me show you that real quick. As you will likely know, Crypto.com has been here in the crypto space for just slightly longer than I've been. Just a little bit, just about a year longer than I've been. And Crypto.com is currently doing some giveaways. For the finale of our 8th anniversary, we're recognizing the protocol that started it all, Bitcoin. Make sure to go ahead and check out some of the rewards. There are a lot of giveaways and rewards that are going on with Crypto.com right now. Make sure that you check them out with the link in the description box down below. And I also want to make sure that you guys see this. There's something I wanted to show y'all. Give me 1 second. Yes. This was posted a couple of days ago. I want to show you some of their posts here. This guy right here. 3 Ethereum winners. It's a big deal. Money coming in. We're celebrating the launch of the Ethereum Spot ETF in a big way. Be among 3 lucky winners of 1 Ethereum simply by purchasing $50 of Ethereum on Crypto.com. So make sure to go to Crypto.com if you have not already, and you can win an Ethereum. And they're also doing a Bitcoin giveaway. They're going to be giving away 1 whole Bitcoin. You can see it right here. Final day of the Crypto.com anniversary prize. They're giving away a whole Bitcoin. You can enter now by coming to their X.com and checking this out. You go ahead and repost that. So make sure you sign up for Crypto.com if you've not already. Enter to win some free money. Why not? I want to help you guys succeed. Free money is a great way to do that. Also, make sure to check out Blowfin. You can get 15% cash back right now by signing up for Blowfin. 15% instantly. Why wouldn't you do that? You make free money. Sign up for Blowfin. Links down below. You get 15% immediately. That is 3 years of staking rewards. 3 years in 5 minutes. Sign up for Blowfin. Links down below. They are also an excellent place to do your leverage trading if you are interested in that. Guys, I do have to wrap it out because I got to go make today's video. Before I do, though, I love you. I want you to succeed. Glad you're here. And I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.